Welcome back, you dogs. When it comes to day trading, when it comes to the S&P 500, the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're talking about here. Because we got to know the direction of the indexes, futures, and the overall market before we decide what stocks that we're looking at to trade, to buy, and to ultimately secure the bag with. So ultimately, I just want to say one thing before we even jump into that. Congratulations on the year, people. Right? Now, two things. If you did well, congratulations. Keep killing it. Keep putting in work. Build on what worked. That's my number one tip to anybody, or advice, right? Not financial advice, but just in general. Build on what worked. Identify what didn't work. Try to steer clear, stay away from that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to building on what works, because then making sure your strategy is funneled based on that. And everything stems off of that. Now, if this year wasn't good, if you look back at your trades and you're like, oh, turns out I'm not paying taxes again, I encourage you guys, make the changes, take accountability. If you want to see that next step, if you want to get to where you want to go, you have to look at the mirror and you have to say, that's the guy that I'm going up against. It's no one else. It's not me. It's not anyone on social media. It's the guy in the mirror. Guys, I'm not inspirational or anything like that. Okay, I'm just saying what worked for me, how, I've found development in my trading over the years, and, best of luck. Okay. Besides that, though, let's look at the year action. I just want to say, like, beginning of the year to now, this is Q's. A 57% run. Kudos. Absolutely beautiful. We ended the year at new highs. It couldn't have been any better. Now, let's go into today's action. Okay, a lot of people today are like, oh, the bears are stepping in. We're stepping in, boys. We're stepping in. Now, let's go real quick on the Qs. I just want to give you a little highlight right here, right? This is your previous 52-week high from January or September 2021, right? If you're not following on Twitter, I recommend doing so. Because this right here, I don't know why people were freaking out. This chart right here, someone was like, oh my, not bullish anymore. I'm pretty bullish. You made a new high, came down, retested previous all-time highs, 2021, and you're bouncing off that to end this action. I couldn't quantify this as more bullish, in my opinion. Okay, so that's how I'm looking at that. You go into SPY, you are not at new highs yet. I think it's above 480, but you're very close. And I will say, what has led us throughout this whole year? The Nasdaq. Okay, so that's things to understand. Now, again, as we go into the new year, I think it's important, okay, that we identify a few things. One, before we jump into anything, okay, I have to ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. It helps the channel tremendously. I'll have an educational video dropping tomorrow. It'll be on my second channel, but I'll have it all posted here so you can check it out. I forgot this, and Jay would kill me, but I had to throw this in there. I know it's a little bit ugly in the video, but I forgot. The newsletter, the link is down below. This is absolutely free. It shows the indexes, all of our levels, expectations for the week. This is last week's AMD. What did we say here? What happened? AMD could break through the current highs and aim towards 145, 147, and potentially 152, right? Exactly what you're looking for. Everything that was happening here. What you need to do, what has to happen for it to happen, right? Microsoft, everything in between, earnings calendar, it's all there. Every week we do this. It's 100% free. The link is down below. We're not selling you. You can see I'm not selling you anything. Anyways, okay. Before we do anything, I want to just give you expectations going into next week and, the following weeks. Number one, again, we didn't expect crazy volume this week. I don't expect crazy volume next week, okay? Next Monday, this coming Monday, New Year's, the holiday, another 4-week trading day or trading week. The week after that, that's going to be a clear week, and then you have Martin Luther King Day after that. So I do expect volume to pick up on the market around January 8th. Similar to how it did last year. We've covered that a lot here, okay? So those are the big things you need to be watching out for and looking for across the board, okay? So we're looking forward to that going into, January. But again, next week, I'm not saying you're going to be down or anything like that. I'm just saying I don't expect crazy volatility, okay? I expect it to come back to normal January 8th, okay? So a few things. DXY, you did not hold below the key level, the key zone down there. The US 30-year yield, you got back above 4%. You did not hold below that. You are sitting in a little bit of a range down here. I will say that. You're sitting in a range. Nothing crazy about it. But again, I want to see the 30-year yield hold below 4%. I can only say that so many times. Okay, you want to see that. Oil's getting very weak, pushing back down, which has led the dollar and yields for some time now as well. The DXY already went over that. You had IWM hold above 200 still. That's a good note. I will say probably the weakest of all the indexes right now, but you're still above 200. Worth mentioning, worth watching. Okay. Now, I don't want to spend too much time going over equities. If you want to see equities, things like that, again, follow on Twitter. I'm going to be doing a lot of charts either tonight or in the morning. If you want to get your chart charted, make sure you follow the instructions when I post it on Twitter. But looking at this market, I just want to be really clear, and this is more of a rant type video or rant type viewpoint here, okay? All in all, what quantifies a bullish trend? You know, I'm not trying to push an agenda, push a narrative. What quantifies it is higher highs and higher lows. And the more I look at Qs, the more I look at SPY, the more I'm just like, it's clear as day. It's, you know, you're higher high, higher low, so far higher low. So you're not out of this trend. For me to even get remotely bearish, you have to break below like 402, 403 on Qs, right? SPY, you have to break below like 468. We're just not there yet. As long as we're making this trend and continuing this trend, there's no reason to start spazzing out, right? You know, Dow, I mean, dude, they all look phenomenal, okay? Now, we go into some of the big names. You know, we had some nice dips today as well. NVIDIA, you reject from 500 again, push back down to 48, bounce right back up. You know, Microsoft, you get reject off of 377 again, you push on to 373, bounce right back up. You know, all these names, again, over and over, we're seeing a very similar trend here. Now, names like Tesla are showing weakness, but again, even on Tesla, you're just right at support again. So I'm saying all this. I'm not saying any of these names go long or anything like that, right? You're just balancing out support on most of these names, and sellers aren't able to push you down. The biggest thing today, and again, I like to look at the market from a viewpoint of why the strength of moves specifically. When you break a massive support, I want to see, do you actually get follow through? Is the sign of strength there from the sellers, from the buyers, whatever it may be? So this morning in particular, you know, my only side of the market that I was looking at, I didn't want to go long in Discord, right? I already had some positions I got stopped out of, right? But what I will say is I wasn't looking at any new long positions on the day whatsoever. I'm trying to find this so it's really clear for you guys. Really quick. Yeah, right here, okay? So all I said in Discord this morning was, right before market open, short side potential for hedging today. IWM breaks 2034. I think we come back into 202 pretty quick, right? And then he just had follow through. He never bounced back. NQ breaks below 1707. I think we likely run right down into 17,000 flat. Also, Discord spots are going to be available on Sunday. Make sure you check that out. You know, what happens when you break through some of these levels, right? Go to the 5 minutes so you can see. You know, you break 1705, you instantly drop to 17,000, get a little bit of a bounce, and then drop more. But what happens from there? That's the part that I think gives you some, you know, clarification. You get some increased volume by sellers, but then you just stop. Sellers just go away, right? You get some increase, but buyers just hold you up and it just continues, right? That's the notion I want people to identify. You're getting no volume across the board from buyers this whole week, no volume. And it makes logical sense. The people who have been doing the heavy buying, hedge funds across the board. It's if you look at the options tape, it's clear who's doing the buying. All the in the money positions are on the call side, on the upside of the market. You have a few getting in on the put side that are in the money, but I mean, if we compare it, it's almost a tenth of the size. Again, in the money positions tell you a lot more than out of the money. Very important to identify that. Now, again, when I'm looking at this, you wanted to see some follow through from sellers, especially if I was going to get concerned, right? And you just didn't. So far you didn't. And maybe hypothetically, maybe the sellers are just all on vacation too. Maybe. And this was just, you know, the retail boys, right? But I mean, you're just holding every level that you needed to hold over and over. Like, it's clear as day, right? And you're buying back, you're bouncing with no volume. That is very concerning if you're a bear. So again, as I look at this, Everything that's on the story of being bullish for me continues to be there. DXY, still very weak. You're bouncing at support, but you're still very weak. You're not actually falling through to the upside. The 30-year yield, you're not bouncing from 4%. You're just holding at that level. IWM, you're above 200, right? Qs, higher highs, higher lows. SPY, higher highs, higher lows. Overall, the market's still very strong, very healthy. And you kind of gave yourself more run room now with the pullback from Thursday and Friday now. So when I look at this, I get excited, personally. I like the upside possibility, but I'm going into this, and I keep saying this part a lot. You want to have time on contracts when you're trading right now, okay? You need to have time on your contracts to protect yourself, okay? Again, next week, I don't think it's going to be incredible. I don't think it's going to be like this, like boom or anything like that, okay? I don't expect volatility and volume to come back into the market until the week of the 8th, okay? So a week from Monday, okay? That's my personal opinion. I like what I'm looking at. I'll have some charts and stuff coming for you guys on Sunday. Stay tuned. Again, Twitter, I'll have a lot of charts on there this weekend as well. I'll see you guys on Monday. Have a good one.